Welcome to episode 57 of the VR Gaming Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube or listen on any podcast platform. I'm Batman, and I'm here with Alex, aka Virtual Insider. Alex?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'm not Batman.
Are you Joker at least? Or Two-Face?
No.
No.
Just a normal person.
What would a Joker impression sound like?
I'm not even going to try. I don't even... Are you going to try? You try and do a Joker impression.
Okay. Bats, what are you doing? Something like that?
Yeah. So your audio clipped then because you went really loud.
Oh, clipped. Yeah, I went too loud. If you're going to do a Joker impression, you got to, I don't know, you got to be too loud. All right, maybe I can fix that in editing. Anyway, let's go to the first game, Batman Arkham Shadow. That's the big release that we've had recently. We both got it. And to prepare for this, I played all the way through Arkham Asylum. So I'd never played it. Have you played all of the Arkham games?
Yeah.
Like, did you beat them all?
I don't think I've finished the first one, Arkham Asylum, for some reason.
Okay.
I can't remember why. I finished the second one, Arkham City and Arkham Knight. I finished both of those.
Okay, so I beat Arkham Asylum, and I was surprised. I liked it a lot. I didn't think I would. Then I started playing City. I did like 5 hours of City, and I didn't like it as much. I agree. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Asylum was more exploration and shit, and I like that stuff. And then City kind of did more combat, and I actually don't like the combat very much.
Don't.
No, not in these regular flat games. Because I feel like I'm not really fully in control. It almost feels like the game is playing itself. You know, you just start tapping You start tapping buttons and holding the stick toward the guy. Then you see a little blue thing, and then you press the counter button and you start fighting that guy. And then I don't know. I just got...
Yeah.
It felt really tedious eventually.
It feels like all you have to do is just keep pressing. You can like just counter a lot. You can just counter and then just like a couple of punches. Yeah, I agree. You don't really feel like you're in full control of the character.
But aside from the combat, I loved all the exploration and the little puzzles and stuff and finding hidden things like all those Riddler things and all the other collectibles and stuff.
Yeah. The last game, the Arkham Knight, I think you would enjoy that as well because you get to drive the Batmobile and then there's loads of different Riddler puzzles and you have to use like the Batmobile's got like different abilities, like you can do like a winch thing where you grapple into objects to pull yourself up walls and stuff. It's really cool. A lot of people didn't like the Batmobile stuff, but I actually really enjoyed the Batmobile in the last game. I thought it added a lot to the gameplay.
I tried to play Arkham Knight when I was using a 1080p TV. No matter what I did, it kept displaying as a 4K game. So I only saw one quarter of the screen displaying.
Oh, that's weird.
So then I went into INI files and even edited the INI files to try to force 1080p, and it wouldn't do it. So I never got to play it. I don't know. I do have a 4K screen. Strange. Maybe I have to play it on the 4K screen. I don't know.
Maybe. So, I don't know. That's a weird problem. I've never heard of that.
I haven't either. It was really strange. And I even posted in the discussions and never heard anything from anybody, so I don't know. So, Batman Arkham Shadow. So, this game is a lot like what I played in the other Arkham games. This feels like an Arkham game. And I played those so that I would be able to make that comparison. Like pretty much all the mechanics, like most of the mechanics that I experienced in Arkham Asylum and City, like you could do in Arkham Shadow, at least to some degree. I mean, but I don't know how far you are into the game.
You don't want to play a video? Should you not be playing a video of Arkham?
Oh yeah, I should be playing a video. I just forgot about that. that.
There you go.
So yeah, here's the trailer. I decided not to do a gameplay video because it might be like spoilers and stuff. So this is just the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. I do. I don't know if what we can talk about because I do. There is. I mean, you finished the game, so you know more than me. But I've played up to a certain point in the game,
Oh, I'll
and
let
it's
you.
really turned me
You
off.
can say prison.
All right, you get to a prison,
Mm-hmm.
and you're basically undercover, so you're not Batman anymore for sections of the game. And as soon as that happened, the pacing just completely slows down because basically you've got like a 2-hour introduction of the game where you learn the controls and you're Batman and you're doing all this cool stuff, and then literally it strips all that away from you, and you're literally like this guy walking around talking to people, listening to conversations, getting into like brawls in the prison.
Yeah, the guy's name is Matches Malone, and I had to look him up. He's an actual character from the comic books. So he was like a bad guy, and he gets killed, but not by Batman. And then Batman assumes his identity as an undercover, identity, because I guess other people don't know that Matches Malone is actually dead. So I didn't know that until I played this game
No, I
and
didn't know that.
then looked it up.
Yeah, I mean that's good for people who know the law. But I mean, like, I'm being harsh on the game because the game is great. I mean, it's not like it's a bad game. It's just the way like, none of the other Arkham games have this thing where you're not Batman anymore. Like you're always
Yeah.
Batman and you play through the game as Batman. So I find it a bit strange that they decided to then take away the coolness of being Batman and make you not Batman for large portions of the game. It just seems an odd choice to me, and it
Yeah.
kind of it's knocked it down quite a lot in how much I'm enjoying it by
But you
not
had
having to be Batman.
you haven't even experienced it all yet, though. Like you've only just gotten to the prison, right?
No, I've been through the first leg of being
Oh, okay.
what's his name, and
Matches
then I've
Malone.
then you and then at night you get to be Batman again. Like
Yeah.
you go do stuff. So I've done that. So I have gone back to being Batman
And
again.
you're already tired of it.
Yeah, it's just because I know now I'm going to go back into the game, and ultimately I'm going to have to go through a section I'm not going to enjoy that much just to get
Yeah.
back to being Batman again, which is kind of annoying.
Okay. Um, I'll get I'll get back to that. All that's the Matches Malone stuff. So when you first start the game, in my opinion, I was initially like, oh, like the graphics are great, but it looks a little bit aliased and a little bit soft.
I
Not
agree.
it's perfectly playable, but it just didn't
Yeah,
look as sharp as I'm used to. So I used a Quest Games optimizer and upped the super sampling 150 to 150%, and then I put the GPU
yeah,
to ultra. I think you also changed the uh the the
yeah.
rendering.
I use foveated rendering, which
Hmm.
you don't notice personally. I think I set that to medium, and I set the GPU to medium, so it's not using like loads of battery.
Yeah.
It plays great. It looks great. Like we should probably have we ever talked about Quest Games Optimizer
Oh,
because
I have
I've I
on the
I
podcast.
bought it for this game, and yeah, it's great. It's like you have to buy it on itch and then like side load it onto the Quest, but then you basically load it up. You have to do a load of bullshit to try and get it to work, which you'll have to follow the instructions. But then once it
Yeah.
works, you just load it up, and then you select the game you want. You can change settings if you want to, or you can like download. There'll be profiles that other people have made or official profiles, which are already set with the resolution and everything, and it just makes the games look so much better. Like being able to take a game that was like looks okay but a bit soft and alias to then have it look almost like a PC VR sharpness was
Yeah.
just like massively changed how good the game looked. So I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it's a mandatory purchase in my opinion, even at full price. Full price is $10,
Oh
but it
yeah,
was
I
on.
agree.
You got it on sale for like 5, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth it though because it like every game you can make it look nice. Because
Yeah.
a lot the problem is that I'm working in development side of things now, and one thing that people probably don't realize is that the reason that games don't launch like this with these settings is because Meta have got these really strict restrictions on how much resolution and how much power usage you can use, because they don't want people like upping the resolution and the GPU power and stuff in their games, and then the battery only lasts an hour, and they're advertising the Quest as having like a 2-hour battery. So developers literally have to abide to what Meta sets as the requirements, which is why these games sometimes come out not looking as good as they could because of these restrictions. So being able to just go in manually, it makes it more like a PC in a way where you can manually tweak things, and obviously that's like a massive bonus.
And if you're like me and you have multiple batteries that you can just hot swap, it doesn't matter if it's, draining your battery faster. Because I have a Bobo strap.
You've got the Bobo with the switchable batteries. I mean, I've got one with just a hard built-in battery, but even with that, I can still get a good solid 3 plus 4 hours of gameplay out, which is enough for me with the battery pack. And you've get game to look better. So, and a battery pack is definitely essential if you're going to do this, but it's definitely worth it.
And some of the games look so bad, like games made for Quest 2 or even Quest 1, they look so bad that I consider them unplayable without Quest Games Optimizer.
Yeah. I mean, some
like
games
that?
never got up to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some. I mean, I never used my Quest 2 natively because they looked so terrible. I mean, the Quest 3 is. I'm glad that we're getting like the quality of the game. Obviously, it still looks like a standalone game. If you look at it, it looks like an old Xbox 360, like what would that be, PS2 game or something?
Yeah.
Maybe PS3. But it still looks good. Like it's not like it's an ugly game or anything.
Yeah. When I was playing this, I was thinking to myself, which looks better, this or Arkham Asylum? And I was thinking in many ways Arkham Asylum looks better, but Arkham Asylum is a third-person game. You're not up close on the textures or anything like you are in VR. So if you were in Arkham Asylum looking up close at the textures, I think they would look horrible. So they have to make the textures in this higher res. Obviously, because it's VR, it's way higher res than a 1080p, flat game. So you would understand why it doesn't quite come across as the graphics looking as good as that game from what was it, 2008 or whenever it came out.
But it's still really very playable, very enjoyable. Like it doesn't look to me, Asgard's Wrath 2, I could never get into that game because it just didn't look good enough. Whereas this, I mean, obviously it's a completely different game. It's more restrictive, linear, but it just looks really nice. The character models look good. It's a good looking game. I think we should say positive things about it because we've probably talked a bit negative. But yeah, it's a good looking game. The gameplay loop overall is fun. Like when you're Batman, being able to grapple around and pull to fly, you pull your hands down by your sides, press both triggers, and you pull your arms out, and you can literally glide around, which is really cool. I mean, I would love to be able to play a full open world game in VR like this with the back controls where you're flying around the city like in Arkham City. But obviously we're not there yet in terms of power with the Quest.
And
maybe Quest 5 or something. But
they're too worried about making people sick, I think, to be like grapple gun. Well, I guess there are games where you can do that, like Windlands 2 and shit like that. So
yeah, but I mean, overall, it is a very restrictive linear game, but it's still really good. Like the environments are good. The combat, which is I think is the main thing that I think is really impressive that they've pulled off. Is because obviously in the flat game, the way the combat works is like you said, you kind of almost just point your stick in a direction and pressing a button, and it all does everything for you.
Yeah, I just mash the buttons really.
And it's all third person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've managed to kind of get that flow of how Batman's moving in the flat games in third person, where it's just flipping from one person to another, jumping over them, and doing all that stuff. They've managed to get that into VR where it works, but instead of you just pressing the button, you're literally swinging your fists around, and doing certain gestures to do certain moves. So to me, the combat in this game is way better than the flat non-VR version. It's just like so much better.
Yeah, my biggest concern for this game before playing it was the combat. I thought it was gonna suck, and I have to say this is a wild statement. This is the best combat I've ever played in any game in my life. In my opinion.
Really?
Yes. It beats anything I've ever
Wouldn't
played
go
in my
that
life.
far.
I mean, like what
Right.
other game can compete with it? The best feeling. Like I felt it's just like, so when I came across some bad guys to fight, I was actually like excited about it. Whereas in Arkham Asylum, I was like, oh god damn it, not again. But
Or did it not get repetitive?
it didn't get repetitive at all for me. But you haven't.
Because I mean,
So
Asgard Wrath, Asgard
oh,
Wrath has a lot of combat, but that game is so
I
fucking
hated the combat
repetitive.
in Asgard's Wrath
Yeah.
actually. Um, wait, I'm
So
sorry.
what do you think of?
I
What do you think it
interrupted
is
you.
in this?
Are you saying that you liked it in
No,
Asgard's
I
Wrath?
just what? No,
What?
I thought it sucked.
Okay, well, this is nothing like that.
It was repetitive.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
me,
that's what I'm saying. Like this is just even though you're obviously like doing combat over and over and a lot throughout the game, it's still fun, which says a lot about how they've nailed it.
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing with me. Okay.
No, I think I agree with you. I think the combat's really good.
No, but I asked
It's
you
the highlight.
what game has better combat than this?
Oh, I mean, I would say like God of War. Maybe I think I enjoyed that more.
God of War.
Obviously, that's
Okay.
not a VR game. In terms of VR game, this is the best probably combat in terms of just pure pleasure and not feeling frustrated, because all these other games where like blade and sorcery and stuff like that, there's always stuff happening that goes wrong and it feels clunky. And the thing about this as well is like, even though you're throwing your fists around, you don't need to move around. You're not using the thumbstick to move around really. You look at someone, you throw your fist, it then transports you in front of them. You get some icons which kind of tell you where you need to punch or what direction. You follow those icons, and while that's happening, someone else could be trying to attack you. So you can either turn around and like block them to then parrying counter, or you can even just like put your hand to one side, literally like to your left or right where the icon appears, and you'll then turn and face them, and then you'll fight them as well. So it's got that thing where you can literally just flow from one person to another person. And I'm guessing as you get, like, if you've played the entire game, you probably got to a point where you kind of already knew what the game wanted you to do, so you could just like flow with it a lot more. Whereas now I'm still learning all the different moves that it wants you to do, so I'm finding that I have to wait for the icons to appear before I can like make the moves really.
Well, you don't have to wait for the icon. You can turn and find the guy and initiate fighting him that way. So I was doing that a lot, where I was just attacking the guys that and there was no blue icon. Or
Yeah, well, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, I meant in terms of like when you go to punch and it, like, transports you to them, you have to do a certain set of moves. Like you'll have to like do a 1-2-3 punch, or like a right hook, left hook, uppercut type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing over time you kind of learned the order, so you didn't really have to wait. You just kind of just knew what moves to do based on triggers that are in the game or something.
They're kind of random. So no, the whole game I had to like,
Are
I
they?
had, I had to pay attention to what it wanted me to do. Because sometimes it would be all you need to do is straight punches. Sometimes you have to do hooks, and like there wasn't like much of a recognizable pattern to it, which I prefer. I don't want there to be a pattern.
Yeah.
But so then
I just wasn't sure if like you could get to a point where you were so good where you could literally just like almost just flow like one guy, another guy, because you know kind of what's going to happen. But I guess it never gets to that point where you can kind of tell what you need to do beforehand.
Beforehand, no. You do have to kind of
When you swing,
you have to pay attention to the
dash
prompts.
into them.
Yeah, I don't. Wait, yeah. I'm not following what you're saying.
I'm just because when you like swing your fist and you dash into them, I wondered if there's certain reactions that the enemy do that can kind of like get you to know what you need to do next, rather than having to wait for the icons. But I'm guessing that's not the case.
No, you have to wait for the icons. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think there's any other way. But there are different types of enemies. So there's some enemies that have knives and they swing their knives at you. Well, those guys, you can't attack them. They have to swing their knives and you have to physically dodge. And you have to physically either dodge left or right or you have to duck. And it isn't until you've done enough of that then you can attack them. Then there are big guys, just like in Arkham Asylum, there are big guys that you can't attack them. You have to do like a cape stun first. Then you can attack them. Then there are guys with electric batons. And you can't, if you attack them, just like in Arkham Asylum, you're going to get hurt. So you have to do a specific thing. You'll learn that you have to do a specific thing first. Like you have to jump over them and attack them from behind.
Yeah, you have to push both sticks forwards, and then you kind of like do a mantle thing, and then you can hit them from behind.
Yeah.
All the moves that are in the game, I think, from what I can tell, are actually from the flat game. Like they've just copied them.
Then there are guys with shields, and you have to do a different thing against them. So all of them like have different things to like kind of initiate the fight, but then once you've gotten into the fight with them, they're usually you usually have to pay attention. Okay, the brute guys, the big guys, with them, usually it's just like you have to just punch them a million fucking times. So with them, you can get through them fast.
Yeah.
You just go punch, and then. But the regular goons, you have to like pay attention. Yeah, you have to pay attention. Like, do I do 1, 2, 3 straight, or do I do a straight and then a hook? Because if you do the wrong punch, it'll stop the fight.
Yeah.
But what keeps happening a lot is you'll be in the middle of a fight with a guy, and then you'll see the blue icon to the left or the right, and you're like, oh, well, I gotta go over there now. Because if you don't, just like in Arkham Asylum, you're gonna get hit. So it'll interrupt your fight with the guy you already were fighting. But I don't know. I like that. And there's a skill tree where you get upgrades so that you can get new abilities for the fights. Oh, and you can get this combo that builds up, this combo meter thing, and then you have this. You press B, and then your next fight, the guy will not die, would go unconscious, like definitely. Because some of the a lot of the fights, you beat them up and they go flying, but then they just get back up again, and then you have to do it again to them, and then they might get up again.
Yeah, which is how the flat game is as well. Like, you have to like do a finishing takedown move sometimes, where you have to get. But you've kind of like get on. You're like pounding them from above. That sounded a bit rude, but you kind of, you like you've kind of like it automatically changes the camera angle so you're above them, and then you kind of like just bash them a few times in the head. Or I mean, it works really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of like grabbing them by the shoulders or the head, and then you slam their head into your knee. Or he just kind of automatically will do a kick into their face, shit like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, okay, so I might have played like God of War 1 or something like a long time ago, but only briefly. I never played any of these modern God of War games, so I can't compare the combat of those games. How is the combat of those games like different than like Arkham Asylum or Arkham City?
Yeah, it's not like that. You're not doing like it's more you can parry, but there's not like a big icon that says you can parry. It's more difficult. So you are like more moving around yourself. You're in full control of what swings you do. You can block and stuff. It's much more nuanced. Much more. Yeah, it's just more manual where you're doing it yourself. And it just feels really good. I prefer God of War over Batman of Combat easily. Like, it's not even close.
I wish those games would get a VR mod, because then I'd play them.
True. I'm not sure if Luke Ross did one, but
no, there's no VR mod. I don't know why. So what else?
Yeah,
so you talked about Matches Malone in prison. So I enjoyed this game a lot. I played it every day, anytime I had free time, I was playing this game. If I put my daughter to bed, I was playing this game. So I liked the game a lot. But the Matches Malone shit, where you're in prison, I did not like at all. and you have to switch between Matches Malone and back to Batman. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times. So you're doing a lot of Matches Malone shit in the prison, walking around talking to other inmates. Sometimes you're fighting as Matches Malone, but a lot of that Matches Malone shit was very boring to me. So that
Yeah, I
really
agree.
brought the game down for me. A lot of the game is in the prison. I just wanted to be Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wish that if they'd have carried on from what they started with that first intro bit, and it was just like that for the rest of the game,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been like I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a great game, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just not perfect. Like people saying, like I've seen people give it like 10 out of 10 and stuff. It's
Yeah, definitely not.
not a 10 out of 10 game for me.
Yeah,
No,
IGN gave it an 8 out of 10.
I'd
I was
agree with that.
yeah, I was kind of thinking 7 out of 10 because of the prison shit, but I don't know. I was
Yeah, I
thinking
think
that.
overall it's a solid 8.
Yeah, yeah. Before I beat it, I was thinking
It's
7
good.
out of 10. Then I don't know. Then maybe it went back higher.
I
So
think you've got to look at the pros. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really enjoyable. Like when you and I are enjoying it, it's just those sections do like I suck. So
and there's a twist. I'm not, at the end of the game, there's a twist that's interesting, and you can see in this trailer, there's Harvey Dent, and there's also Dr. Harleen Quinzel. So
oh
they're both nice people in this game. So this is pre Arkham Asylum. I don't know. I never played Arkham Origins. I don't know if it was Origins and then it would be this game and then it would be Asylum.
no,
But
Origins was I don't remember where that was set. It was yeah, I think Asylum is. I think Asylum was the first one, even with an Origins. But I can't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it feels like we're going to talk about obviously Metro as well. It feels like they've because both of these are like prequels, and I feel like they've done that to try and kind of so they can make the game simpler. So like, because if you build it on what's already been before, then people expect more from the game, I guess. Whereas if it's a prequel, you can say, well, it was a prequel. It was before all this other stuff happened. So
yeah. So you get a decoder thing, like a little to get through doors with your little decoder. Then you get that explosive gel gun. You get the grapple gun. Then you upgrade it to where you can pull grates off. Just like in Arkham Asylum. Oh, you have smoke grenades that you can use when enemies spot you. Because these enemies with guns, they're going to spot you and kill you a lot. So these predator sections can be pretty tough. Just like in Arkham Asylum, I got killed a lot. And then in Arkham City, I got stuck at a part where I killed all these guys with guns. And then there was a guy in the center in this, like a museum, and he had a hostage. And I couldn't figure out what I was, because if I got near him, he kills the hostage. And there was no way I could throw a batarang or do anything. So I couldn't, I just gave up there and I haven't played it since. But
can't remember.
you string up enemies under the gargoyles just like you do in Asylum. It's very
Yeah,
similar.
although you don't hang upside down, which is a little bit disappointing. I
Oh,
would have
you
preferred.
do. Oh, well, you mean you want it to visually be upside down to where
Yeah, I want it to be upside down. Yeah,
yeah, they should do that, but maybe they thought, oh, well, disorient people too much. There's
because
no
you like
jump.
just space in the normal way. Yeah,
Yeah, there's no jump in this game either.
no,
All you have is the grapple gun to get up to places. And this something you pointed out is that it's kind of weird. Is you don't have to raise your hand to shoot the grapple gun. You can just keep your hand down at your
look.
side and just grapple up onto whatever. Which
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of making a video about this because
oh
I've noticed this on Metro. They kind of like, for some reason, they've really simplified some things, which I feel like didn't need to be simplified.
mm-hmm.
And that's one of them where like, why can't you just grab a thing from your belt, aim it, and shoot it with the trigger like you would expect? Why can't you? Why do you have to just press a button with the grapple gun, where and it automatically, like, the hand just automatically comes out and grapples you up. It just little things like that. I just feel like, why do it that way when you literally could have, like, you've got other things on your utility belt, like you can grab your batarangs and stuff. So why can't you just grab grapple and just aim and shoot it like a gun? I just don't quite understand why they did that. But
I can't even remember. So on your right hip, if you grip, do you get something in your hand?
I can't remember.
Yeah. If you grip on your chest, you
Maybe
get a
they were
batarang.
worried. I wonder if they were worried, like, people would just try and grapple onto everywhere, and they'd be disappointed because the grapple, like, because you can only grapple onto set points.
Yeah, it'll say like
But that's how it is in
A
the
button or something.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like, they never get rid of any of the prompts. Like, the entire game, it'll still be telling you sprint here to jump. Push forward on the right stick to mantle. Like, entire game, like, it's got these little tips, tutorial tips.
Yeah.
You can't turn them off. I'd
Uh,
love to be able to have like a limited mode where there's not much HUD going on, where you just have the bare minimum you need to get through the game, rather than having everything pop up all the time.
About the mantling, yeah, I didn't really like you push forward on the right stick to mantle over things instead of doing it physically. I
That's
wish we
the
could just do.
Half-Life Alex thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Half-Life Alex, yeah, simplified, but at least, yeah, in Half-Life Alex, it was that dumb teleport thing. The mantle in this game is better than
Jump.
that. I don't want to see those little teleport feet anymore.
And I feel like this and Metro are both taking a lot of inspiration from Alex with stuff,
Yeah,
and taken, in my opinion, like some of the worst parts of Alex, which, they've kind of like taken that simplified stuff where you can't really do much other than what the game wants you to do.
hmm
I guess it's a way to make sure the game's polished and you can't, like, have jank and stuff, but they take it a little bit too far with this sometimes. So
And one other positive thing, there's tons of collectibles in this. There's these little radios you can find, and there's these little rat statues. And I think there's other things you can find. Oh, there's like posters you can find and phone numbers you can find. All sorts of like collectible things. I didn't even come close to finding all that stuff. Um,
yeah, there's
but if
some of them are little puzzles as well. Like, you'll have to solve a little puzzle to get to like a rat
yeah,
shoe to destroy it and stuff, which is
there,
cool little side objectives.
there were some I was just like, I don't know what they want me to do here. I just skipped them. So
Yeah, they're optional, which is the good thing about it. But
yeah,
yeah, I quite
so
like stuff like that. They're like the Riddler's trophies, I guess, from Riddler puddles from other games.
yeah, except I didn't like the Riddler ones as much because he gave you a little riddle and then you have to walk around trying to search for whatever the thing he was talking about. I like more like a
Yeah,
yeah, these are more like a physical puzzle where you have to figure out what you need to do. Like and the puzzle's right in
yeah.
front of you. Yeah. Anything else about Batman?
No, I think it's a really good game. Just let down by a few little things. I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked a little bit negative about it in places, but overall, it's still a great game.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they've done a good job with it, because, like you, I was concerned about how they were going to handle the combat, and I think I don't regret buying it. I think that it's going to
Yeah.
really help sell the Quest as well.
It's great, but I'm still disappointed.
Yeah,
Even though it's great. I guess maybe
and
I had
Half-Life
my
Alex did that in a
expectations.
way.
Huh?
Yeah, Half-Life Alex felt a bit like that. Like, when you finished
Yeah.
Half-Life Alex, it was
Yeah.
great, but you wanted more. Of you wanted more harder combat. You wanted more of this, that, and the other. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, it's an enjoyable game while you're playing it, but afterwards you feel like, oh man, I wish it had this, or I wish it had that. Which I guess is not a bad thing. It's just a sign that you want more of it. So
And it does have these combat. There's like extra stuff where you can do like combat things that I haven't tried, so I don't know how those are. Like combat challenges and stuff like that. Some
yeah,
I don't know what that's like. Okay, so here's some screenshots that I took of from my gameplay, and I was thinking like, man, a lot of these faces look like, especially that woman's face right there. It was like this guy does not look that great. This is that
no.
Asian guy. This guy does not look good. This guy I think looks really realistic. Um,
Are you taking these photos?
yeah, these are my screenshots.
You were just
I was
walking around
getting up.
photographing
I was
people.
getting up in people's faces and taking screenshots. Yeah, yeah. And there was
Yeah.
one. There was one I showed you of me with Dr. Harleen Quinzel that I probably shouldn't show. So.
Ah, it's fine. But yeah, I mean the character models are a bit I think like the main character models look good mostly, but then like they have obviously a lot of NPCs that I was walking around which look a bit not as good, like that one. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah, that was like a very generic goon one. You'll see his face all over the place in the prison. They just reuse it.
yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. It's weird in these games that some NPCs look really good and some look like shit. But um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, one other thing. They have these cutscenes. I don't know if you've seen them, where it's usually Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, and the black woman that they in this slideshow here. She's the one I said her face was very impressive.
Yeah.
Like she apparently is the woman that took in Bruce after his parents killed him.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what
Yeah.
her name is. Anyway, they keep showing these cutscenes that are weird to me. They're overhead view
Yeah.
of, and it's usually Bruce and Harvey with her usually, or sometimes it's with like Harvey's dad or something who's like an alcoholic and abusive. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was weird. The game like you'd beat a level and then it would show this cutscene that was an overhead view, and I was like, are they doing this overhead thing so they don't have to do it? Spend as much time animating the faces and making it look good. And then
Yeah.
and they're just like 180 videos. They're not even rendered in real time or anything. And they look kind of weird. They look sort of like how some UEVR games look when the shaders aren't right. I don't know if you thought that.
I've not seen enough of them
Okay.
to comment. I've seen like the one where his parents die and it shows kind of like what happened after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about cutscenes in VR anyway. Like Metro does it as well. There's a lot of similarities between these two games, even though they were completely independently developed. But Metro does it as well, where it has these cutscenes, and I'd rather just keep it in person. Personally, I'd rather not
Hmm.
have these weird camera cuts where you're like out of body experience or something.
You know what's weird?
But
I heard someone else say something about the cutscenes in Metro. I've played Metro for 5 hours and I haven't seen a cutscene. I don't know why.
well, there's one near the beginning of the
Maybe
game where you like,
I must have skipped over it.
oh yeah, because you like wake up, but it shows you like inside this tram thing, and you're hallucinating, but you're all doing it from like you're watching yourself from the outside.
Oh, that. Okay, I do remember that. Okay. But after that I don't think there was anything else.
Oh, maybe that was the only one then.
I think that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'm 5 hours in and that's the only one I can remember.
I mean, I've not played enough of Metro yet to see all that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I just remember from the beginning of the game that happening, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird way to handle it. But
Yeah. All right, well, since we're talking about Metro, we might as well go to it. So this is the
okay,
trailer for Metro. So, or one of the well, I don't know who talks first, me or you.
you played more of it, so you talk.
Okay. One of the first things I noticed was so it asked me if I want to do like comfort mode or immersive, and I picked immersive, but still there was a vignette when I moved.
Yes,
So I had to go
yes,
into the settings, and then it was kind of you couldn't find the vignette easily. You had to change it to like custom in the
yeah.
settings.
You, it's hard if you go immersive. Why you should be everything should be off. All comfort mode should be off.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're walking around and you've got like, this black outline coming in. At first, I didn't realize what was happening. I thought it was some sort of weird glitch,
part of the game. Oh,
and then yeah, and then I was like, oh wait, there's a vignette on. Why the hell is that still on? So then yeah, like you go into the options, but you can't change it until you change to custom. Then you have to like it's a weird system. I don't like it.
yeah. And I changed the anti-aliasing to TSR, which is temporal super resolution, and I think that's only works with Unreal Engine 5. And that looked way better to me than TAA. Did you do
I tried that, and
TSR?
performance went to like 20 FPS when I tried to use that.
Uh,
But I'm actually using FXAA, which is basically not really much anti-aliasing, but I'm running at like 3,500 per eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm barely seeing any like shimmer, and everything looks really sharp and clear. So I'm kind of sticking with that for now.
Okay. I did
But yeah,
TSR. And sorry, I
TSR
did.
looked better for me, but performance was just really bad.
Well, maybe you have to have like a 4090 or some shit. I don't know for TSR.
Yeah,
I put it TSR and everything on ultra, or the highest it would go. And luckily, I didn't
yeah.
have any performance issues. And I didn't increase the in-game resolution or anything. I don't know if you tried that.
No, I mean I'm just using Steam VR super sampling, but
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot of people complaining about performance. But personally, I'm not
Yeah.
finding any issues with performance. Also, a lot of people complain about the textures. Are you having problems with the textures looking bad?
Some of the textures look low res. I've noticed that,
I mean,
but
a
not
few, but with
like.
like,
I don't think it's like like an error. I think it's just like some textures they didn't bother fixing. That's
I don't know. I mean, to me, it just doesn't look that bad. Like I'm walking around thinking people are moaning about textures,
how many
and
hours
that
have you.
may
Are you in the tunnels yet?
no, maybe that's why.
That's why it gets worse. So, all
Oh,
right,
okay.
when you first start the game, the first room you're in, at first I was like, "Whoa, this looks really good." I was very impressed, and you could tell that they were kind of trying to be like Half-Life Alyx because there's lots of stuff in there you can pick up and interact with. And I think they put a lot of
Yeah,
attention into the first room and the first areas you walk through because like
yeah,
those, I thought it had really nice environments, but when I got further into the game, the environment started looking shittier and shittier. Like, so once I was
yeah.
going through tunnels and, um, these like kind of grungier environments, I started seeing more low resolution textures and like less polygons and stuff.
Right.
It was never really bad looking, but it wasn't as good as what I saw in the beginning.
Yeah, I think Half-Life Alyx did that in a way where they put so much attention into the first part because they knew
Mhm.
people were going to want to explore and touch everything. But then as
Yeah.
they went through the game, they would put less. I mean, they still looked good. Obviously, the environment still looked good, but they wouldn't put like so much attention into every single little environment as they went
Yeah.
through.
I thought the NPCs didn't look good at all for the most part. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they're a bit hit and miss. It's kind of they're not as good as Arkham Shadow, and yeah, some of them look okay. Like the main ones you talk to seem to look
Yeah, the
okay.
guy Max, he looks good, but
Yeah,
yeah, the generic ones are pretty bad.
yeah,
And
I agree.
also they don't react to you at all. Like they're just like it's basically like they're just animatronics and you can get right up in their face and like hit them and fuck with them. And they're, in a game like Assassin's Creed Nexus, if you do that, they actually react. They're like, back away, get away. If you hit them, they get upset or they'll run away from you. Like, that's the kind of shit I want in these games. I don't want them to just be like an animatronic. And in Batman, I think they would react to you because I remember I was staring at a guy and he went, "What are you looking at?" And I was like, "Oh shit, that was awesome." So, uh, you still
Just
there?
play Assassin's Creed Nexus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't even tried it?
No, I was waiting to see if they were going to port it over to like PSVR or something because it's one of those where I feel like it's not going to be exclusive permanently. But I guess it's down to whether Ubisoft want to port it or not. I guess, but
Hmm.
yeah, I was hoping that maybe we get a better version on PSVR 2 or PC. But maybe I'll just play it on Quest 3.
With Quest Games well, I didn't even use Quest Games Optimizer with it, and I was fine. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it's one of those things I will play eventually. But yeah, back to Metro. How long have you played Metro
five
now?
hours.
Oh, right, you played quite a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So okay, this of all these major releases this year, this was the one I was least excited about because I've never
Yeah,
played a Metro game. I think you have, right?
yeah, I played a couple of them.
And I could tell just by looking at the trailers and stuff, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this much because I don't usually like games where it's just dark all the time. And that's my big
Yeah,
issue with this game. It's fucking dark all the time, and you have to use a flashlight like almost all the time. My
yeah,
biggest issue is the flashlight. So you have a flashlight, it's like a lamp on your head. So wherever you look, you get the light. Well, I don't know. It's like every 5 minutes you have to recharge the flashlight. And to do
yeah,
so, you have to use your left hand and grab your left shoulder and pull. That's how you pull your backpack out. So then you're holding your backpack. Then the recharger for the flashlight is on the left side of the backpack. So you have to reach over. So you're holding the backpack with your left hand. You have to reach
yeah,
over to the left side of the backpack to get this fucking recharger. Okay, you grab that. Then you have a handle and you crank the fucking handle. All right, you crank it for like, I don't know, at least 5 seconds, cranking it. And then you've recharged your flashlight. Well, in about 5 minutes, you're going to have to do that again if you're using your flashlight that whole time. And most of this game is dark enough, I think, that you pretty much need your flashlight.
yeah.
It makes me not want to play the game.
Why do you think? I noticed that when you pull the backpack off,
Yeah.
like you need to obviously wind it up with your left hand, so you need to grab it with your right hand. But then then the flashlight's on the left side of the backpack, so
Yeah.
you're almost reaching through the backpack to get to the
Yeah.
flashlight on the other side.
Okay.
It's such a weird placement
The,
of how they've
okay.
done
So
it.
the charger needs to be on the right side of the backpack, and because the mask is on the right side of that mask, you don't even use it that often. Put it on the left side of the backpack. Why didn't they flip
Yeah,
those?
yeah, that's a weird decision. It's a weird
Or
decision.
or have the charger somewhere else on our body so we can get to it even faster. Because that's something you need to fuck with a lot. Because there are
I mean,
panels on
yeah.
there are panels on the wall where you have to use the charger to open a door. That happens a lot in this game.
Why not have it so you have the backpack on one shoulder and then the flashlight on the other shoulder, so you can literally just grab the flashlight
When you say
over your right
flashlight, do
shoulder.
you mean charger?
The charger, yeah. So you
Okay,
basically you could have it so you just like right hand side pulls the backpack, left hand shoulder pulls the charger,
I'll tell you why.
and then you just wind.
Okay,
Why?
when you get farther into this game, you'll get another weapon. And what they do is if you use your left hand to grab your right shoulder, and then you pull out another bag, and that bag is how you change between the weapon that's on your back. So,
Okay,
the first
interesting.
weapon you get is a handgun. Then you end up getting, a machine gun type rifle, whatever. Then you're gonna get another weapon, and so then that weapon is also a weapon that goes on your right shoulder. So that's how they decided to switch between either the rifle or that other weapon is this bag on your right shoulder.
Well, what about your holsters on your hips? You have to
Yeah,
have two guns on them.
your left hip is the healing thing, the healing gun, and then your right hip
Right.
is your handgun. And if you grab your
Okay, so they could have.
chest, what is it if you grab your chest?
I don't know. I'm
That's
not that
ammo.
far.
That's ammo.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
so okay, so
guess.
that's how you
Yeah.
reload in this game. You grab from your chest and then you actually manually put the clip in the gun and then pull back the slide. So it's not like Arizona Sunshine 1 where you just bring the gun to your chest, It's actual manual reload.
Yeah.
They needed to come up with a better way. Or just
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could have just put them both on the right hand side, so that made room for the mask and the charger on the backpack on the right hand side, so you're not reaching through, or I don't know. It's a small thing, but yeah, it's kind of weird when as soon as I did it, because when I first pulled the backpack over, I thought, oh, it's on my left. Maybe I needed to use my right hand to pull the backpack over
and
so that I can use
that
my
won't
left
work.
hand.
Yeah.
But then you can't charge the thing because the charger's on the left hand
Well,
side, so
no,
you can't like wind it up.
you can't even grab your backpack with your right hand. It won't work
Yeah,
because
I mean that's what I mean.
grabbing your left shoulder with your right hand is how you get grenades. Maybe that's yeah.
Like,
So once you have grenades, once you find those in the game, That's how you get them. So
Well,
you
spent
have
enough
to
time
grab your
talking about that.
you have to grab your backpack with your left hand.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
it's
I don't
that's
know,
from mine and Ryan's.
why can't the flashlight just stay on, or just let me just like make it way less frequent that you have to charge it.
I mean, that's part of the flat game. The flat game, you have the charger to charge your flashlight.
Is it every
So it
5 minutes? Is it like that often?
I can't remember, honestly.
Okay. There's also a timed mask filter. I don't mind that because the mask you don't have to use that often. So there'll be like
Yeah.
radioactive mushrooms or some shit, and then you got to put the mask on, and the filter. I don't know. I don't know if you have something like 3 minutes, at least, where you have to before you have to change the filter. I kind of like the stress of that. I don't know if you've gotten to
Yeah.
that section yet.
No.
Okay. And it's cool because on the mask, there's condensation. So you have to use your hand and actually wipe on the mask to get the condensation away, so that, because it looks all like blurry and shit. So I like that touch.
Yeah, in the non-VR games, you actually go outside as well, but I've heard you don't do that in this.
Oh, you do go outside in the
You used to
non-VR
have,
games?
yeah, you literally had to put your gas mask on to go outside, and then you would have
Oh,
sections where you're outside, and there'd be like mutant creatures flying around and
oh.
stuff. But it sounds like you don't
Yeah,
do that in the VR version.
everything I've done in this game is inside, and it's just oppressive. Like, so in Half-Life Alyx, there are a lot of parts where you're inside, and once I got to an outside section, I was like, thank God. Oh, it was a huge
Yeah,
relief for me.
yeah.
Even though I never go
Well, the
outside in
entire
real
game is
life.
like that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
entire game. So the enemies, like, there's these, like, what are they? I don't know. Are they giant mutated rats? I don't know what they are. They're not scary to me. The monster enemies.
No, I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, I've not played. I did the first bit where you're on the guns and you're like shooting them and they're coming at you. But yeah, they're not particularly that scary. I've heard there's a lot of spiders in this game, which I'm not sure how I'm going to handle.
I haven't seen many. I got to one part where I saw some spiders and I was like, oh, there's spiders. Something does happen with the spiders that you won't like.
Crawl on you or something.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I've heard people say like this. Sometimes they'll randomly look down and there'll be a spider on their hand or something. So
something like that.
Oh yeah, they crawl on your head and then you get little. If they're on the back of your head, you like you get to see the little legs.
That didn't happen to me, but something else happened to me.
If they jump at you,
they didn't jump at me. No.
Oh.
I'll tell you. I reached back for my backpack because like, of course I had to charge my fucking flashlight. So then when I brought my hand back down, there's a spider on my left hand.
Oh yeah.
And I went, oh shit,
Made
so that
jump.
was all. Yeah, it gave me just a little jump. So I'm at a part where now I'm fighting humans. They're just guys with guns, and they're easy. They're really dumb, and I'm just headshotting them. And just one thing, they drop their gun, and you can take their ammo, and bring it to your chest. I like that. Like most games, I think I've always thought it's weird that an enemy will drop their gun, and usually you just can't do anything with it. It's just like, well, there's a gun. Why can't I do something with it? And at least in this game, you can.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Oh, when you take damage, like it makes the screen kind of look like Mura, however it's pronounced. So I wanted to ask you, does Mura look bad for you in your PSVR 2?
Well, that's something it's interesting because when I was reading on the Reddit and stuff, people were saying it looks really bad in PSVR 2 on the PSVR 2, like for Miura, which I can believe because when I played obviously Resident Evil 4, the sections in the game where it's lit like this game are the worst, like for how it looks really bad for the Miura. But for some reason, and I don't understand why, on PC when I'm using the adapter, I just really barely can see it. Like majority of times I can't see it at all. and even in Metro, I just can't. I can see it like very faintly sometimes, but I can barely see it. So I don't know if it's something to do with the brightness or what it is. But yeah, I really can't see it much.
On PC, does it not get as bright? I think, is that what it is?
Because they probably use like the HDR on the PSVR 2 on the PS5, but on the PC HDR is not compatible. It's
Yeah.
still brighter than like a Quest 3. Like it's still a lot brighter, but it's not probably as bright. Maybe I don't know what it is. I can't work out why that would be, but it just is. Like I just can't see it that much. So, which I'm happy about because otherwise it would really ruin it for me.
Okay, so and this game is a very linear game, and I do feel like I'm just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
I am pretty bored. Like getting through this has been like unlike Batman, I'm not like eager to go back into it. So, and this game is $40 or something. Like it's kind of expensive.
$40, yeah.
It's kind of expensive for what it is. I googled how long is this game, and it said 6 or 7 hours. I don't know if that's right.
No, I don't think that's right.
I
I
don't
think a
think
lot of
so.
people said like 10 plus 10 to
Okay.
12 hours.
Yeah, because you can't always trust that AI shit, the AI Google shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Arizona Sunshine too. I remember when people were saying it was like 3-4 hours long, and it took us like 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just because some people I think just play through them really quick, and
yeah,
that's not how we play games. So
that's another game from Vertigo that I didn't really like. What I didn't like about Arizona Sunshine, yeah, you played co-op. I didn't like all the dark shit, all the dark sewers. I hated the dark sewers, and unfortunately, that's a lot of what this game is.
Yeah, that's the entire game.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll keep playing it. There's a ton of dialogue and there's a story, and like that in the video right now, that's your wife. So she goes off on her own. I think maybe she's trying to find your son or something, and then you go after her.
She's having hallucinations or something.
Yeah, hallucinations about the son. So is that why she went off? I can't remember. I'm not good at listening to the story. I'm not much of a story guy. I'm more just I'm just gameplay. Just let me play the game.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the story is pretty decent from what I've heard in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it. I mean, I've only played an hour. The reason I've stopped playing, actually, I should mention, is because the
gun angle.
Yeah, on the PSVR 2 controllers, and a lot of people reported this on other, like in the Index and even on Quest 3 controls on PC. Like, for me, it's unplayable. Like the gun angle, like the pistol, like pointing up, and for me to get it straight, I have to twist my wrist at such an angle that it's literally uncomfortable to hold it, and I can only just kind of twist it enough to get it to like point straight. So to me, I just can't play it like that. So there's quite a lot of people who complained about it. So I'm hoping that the developers release a patch with some sort of fix or maybe a weapon adjustment angle in the settings and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty bad with the PSVR 2 on PC. So I'll wait for the fix before I play more. But I do want to play more. I've only played the first part where you get to the gun, which is probably the most impressive part. Anyway, it sounds like after that it goes downhill a bit, but we'll see. I'll talk about it next time when I play more.
The Quest 3 gun angle isn't perfect, so I have to point down a little bit. But it's okay. But I'm sure yours is
really
a lot.
bad for the PS2.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. All right. Anything else about Metro Awakening?
No, I think it's one of those games that I wasn't 100% sure how much I was going to enjoy. I'm a bit disappointed that they haven't done like outside bits and like mixed it up like in the non-VR versions of the game, because the non-VR versions are actually really good, and they've really paced the games really well with how they've introduced new things, bits of stealth, bits of like horror, bits of outside bits, like, so if it's getting really repetitive, that's a bit unfortunate that the developers have not like taken influence from the non-VR games pacing and kind of integrated that into the VR version.
All right. Human Fall Flat VR. Alex and I played this together. I was pleasantly surprised, actually.
Me too. I enjoy it a lot, actually.
Yeah. Like when we first loaded it up, I was thinking, this isn't going to be very good. But that was just at like the intro level, and then I don't know. The more we played, the more I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, you play it's a third-person game, and they've kept it third-person, which a lot of people have complained about. But you're like this little physics kind of ragdoll thing that waddles around, and you have to like climb and like move things around, but everything's really wobbly and physics-based. So I think if you put that in first person, it probably could feel really dreadful. I don't know. And like even things like where you climb, like to climb up, you have to like put your hands straight up in the air, and then like just pull your arms up, and so
Yeah, your
I don't
hands
know
in
how that
real
would
life.
feel.
So you have to actually put
Yeah,
your real life hands up in the air, and then to climb up, you have to bring your real life hands down low to pull up. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't know. Well, I've never done it third
it's
person.
it's like it's like you're puppeting the character in front of you. You've got almost like strings, and everything that you do with your real life arms, it mimics what's the third person character's doing.
Yeah.
So if you want to press a button that's in front of you, you literally just move your hands like you would do. But obviously, because you're third person, there's like a little bit of wobbliness. I think it works great personally. I think it's really a really good decision to do it that way.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun. I think the main thing I like, which I wasn't expecting, is that the levels, like the first levels were really boring. I was like, oh god, this is not going to be very good. But then the later levels, they're like, it's almost like you're going on an adventure. Like you go to so many different places, and even though it's all simplistic, like looking, it still looks pretty decent. Like one level, you go on you start off on like a rowing boat, and you have to physically move your arms to row the oars, and then you get on a sailboat, and then you get on a cargo ship, and then you're just going on this journey, like you're going on this adventure down these big expansive levels, like, and then when you're playing it co-op, it's just really good fun, like having to try and figure out where you need to go, or climb up, and you're falling down and having to get back up, and it's just fun. I really enjoyed it, actually, a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, and you could play 4-player co-op. The only issue with the co-op was we had to manually load the levels. They weren't loading automatically one after the other. That was the only problem.
Yeah, that was a shame, because I think in the flat game, I don't know if that's like the same for co-op in the flat game, but in like the single player game, I think like because at the end of a level, you basically just jump off an edge of something, and then you're falling like through clouds. And I think the idea is that you then just automatically transition to the next area, like fall on the floor, and then obviously you can start the level. But that doesn't happen. You fall down, and it's like this endless loop of you just falling, and then you have to head back out to the main menu and then load the next level to actually play the next level, which is a little bit disappointing, but I guess it's not that big of a deal, really.
And when you die, you just fall, like you just land. You get launched, you're in the air, and you just land back on the level where like right where you were pretty much, or your last checkpoint, and it feels cool. I don't know
Yeah,
how to describe it.
because you kind of fall, and then it almost like transitions you back to where you were. Like so, you
Yeah.
fall down, and then you like it's very smooth the way that they do it. You just like fall, and then you all of a sudden now you fall flat back on to the land where you were before. So it's like a really cool way of respawning you when you die, basically.
Yeah, and it's infinite lives. You don't have to worry about that. So yeah, it's
Although
cool.
you can kind of cheat a little bit, because if you're playing co-op, you can kind of like help the other person to get over to the place where you need to be. And as soon as this game says that it's saved, you can literally just fall off, and then you'll land where the other player is. So you can kind of almost hack it where you don't both have to get across the obstacles. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's fine. You
there's
can.
some if you're playing that single player, I'm not sure how you'd get through some of those things we were doing.
Yeah, I mean, they'd definitely be harder single player, because we were helping each other out. Like, there's one bit where you're on this cargo ship, and then you put it into a dock, and then you have to use this crane to then move this crane, and like to move things around, like there's actual physical levers, so you have to like get your little wibbly arms and move them around left and right. So then you have to move this crane on top of this cargo container, and then like Justin was in front of me having to grab all of these hooks and then manually hook them into the cargo container, and then I'd lift him up on the cargo container, and he'd go to another section of the level. It's really fun, like the way that it plays out. The levels are really well designed.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think you could play. This is VR only, so I don't think you could play with a flat person. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not. People complain apparently it's not cross-platform between the VR and the flat version, so you can't play online with people if they're playing like the non-VR version. Unfortunately, which is a shame.
Okay.
But
I think it was only
$9
something dollars.
Like, it's really cheap.
That's
from launch. I think like £7, $9.
Yeah.
It's a really good game. I even single player, I think I'd still enjoy it. Not as much as co-op, but co-op makes it definitely better, more fun.
Next game. We did Walkabout Mars Gardens. This was the previous DLC. We never got around to playing it. This one,
yeah.
I don't feel like there was anything that special about this one.
I think it looks nice, but the courses were really basic. I felt like we literally finished them like 10 under par because it was so easy.
Yeah.
They weren't very challenging at all. We haven't done the hard version of it, but on the easy version.
And you don't get out on Mars. You know, I wanted I wanted my eyes to bug out like Arnold in Total Recall.
Yeah, I was definitely expecting it because at the end of the Wallace and Gromit level, you're on the moon, and like it's almost like you're driving it, making it go like with low gravity, like really far. So for some reason in my mind, I thought this was going to be like a full course like that, where you're out on Mars and you've got these long putts that you've got to make, but it's not like that at all. You're just inside this dome on Mars with this like futuristic looking garden thing.
Could the hard levels do they ever change it enough to where the hard levels could be like out of the dome?
Generally not. Generally they're the same levels, just slightly tweaked. So
there was a setting on the custom level options where you could change the gravity on this.
Yeah, that's why it was really confusing, because that made me think, oh, we're going to be outside, but you're just not. Actually, it's weird. It's a weird one. It's a fine level. It's not like anything amazing.
Then we also played Walkabout 8-Bit Lair. This is the most recent DLC, and this one's way more interesting than the Mars one. Yeah,
I agree.
So a lot of these courses are like Breakout or Arkanoid, where you have to knock blocks out of the way, or you have to get all the coins. Then they have.
It was hard as well.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah. Then they have arcade machines, because we were like at least 10 under par or 10 over par.
Well, yeah, we were like 10 over par.
Yeah, 10 over.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And there are actual playable arcade machines in this. I don't know, there might have been like 5 playable arcade machines where you could actually, control. They're very simple, basic things, but I was surprised that they had anything like that at all.
Yeah, although they're not synced, so like I couldn't see what you were doing, or you couldn't see what I was doing, so we couldn't like sit and watch each other play the game or anything, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah. Anything else about
the courses were good. It looked nice. Like you said, there was like these little twists to them, like you had to break these blocks to be able to get to the hole, or rather than get into the hole, just get all the coins on a level. And then you go through this portal thing, and you're in this like, it's like you said, like this typical kind of synthwave retro kind of thing, where you've got all the grids with the pyramid and the sunset in the background, and it was cool though. I liked it. I preferred it way more than the Mars one.
Yeah, me too. All right, next game, Silent Slayer: Vault of the Vampire. This came out originally on Quest, and this is my video of me playing it. that has. This is a game. It's sort of like Operation, where you need to be really careful. I'm gonna fast forward. You have to be really careful with not waking up the vampire, and you have to very slowly take bars out that are locking the vampire's coffin. Then there will be like wires maybe that you have to snip, and you have to snip the right ones. Things like that. Then there'll be a point where you have to do a like swipe some lines in the air and do them the right way. And I was really bad at that. It took me a while to figure out the best way to do that. Then you get a stake and you have to plunge it into the vampire's heart. But first you have to use this tool to locate the heart. And I actually missed. I missed a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would mark it. So like right here, I'm marking it with that heart thing. And then like I would be off by an inch or something. Why do you think
Very
maybe
sensitive to like where you needed to go.
do you think they should have added some sort of like an aim assist, or is that too easy?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I felt like I got it pretty much where it needed to be, and I
Yeah.
somehow missed. So I was surprised because when you like wake the vampire, it's basically just a jump scare. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's, where something will just appear on the screen with a black background, like just making you jump, which never makes me jump, but it was just annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when I'd like felt like I'd done everything right, but still failed, it was like, oh god, I can't be bothered with this. So yeah, it was. I didn't particularly like it, to be honest with you. I get the concept of it, but probably just not my sort of thing.
What did you think of these? What did you think of these puzzles they made you do?
I didn't do many. I literally did the first thing. So like the first one with the swipey things.
So after each one you kill, they make you do a puzzle, and it's it's kind of annoying.
Oh, you have to like put stuff together.
Yeah, you have to put if you're watching.
Oh yeah,
I did that. And then in my video, I fast forwarded it because I didn't want people to have to sit and watch me, feel stupid.
I felt like they were trying to pad the game out almost because
yeah, definitely.
The game's obviously pretty short, but then like the narrator talks really fucking slowly and talks a lot, and you stood there listening to him like waffle on, and yeah, it was a good concept, but I didn't like the way they pulled it together personally.
That's the big problem with the game is way too chatty. This book or whoever it is that's talking, it's way too talkative.
Yeah.
So you keep okay. I guess what? Oh yeah. So like if you make any little noise, so here I am. I'm prying the nails out of the coffin. You have to do it very slowly. Then you pull it out with your hand. Then do everything very slowly. It'll tell you if you did it too loudly, and I don't know if there's like an invisible meter that's building. So like
yeah, if you do it too fast, it'll like make a sound and like
it makes the screen red just like right now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if like there's an invisible meter that then affects what I do in the future. So I take these out and I put them down. So then does that make it more susceptible to the vampire getting me once I'm inside the coffin? I'm not sure.
No idea. I don't know how it works.
You have to slowly open the coffin. If you open the coffin fast, it's gonna, do that sound. And this one on screen right now is the one where you have to like cut these wires. And so some of them, they're not like this one right here. The wires are not lit up or anything. So I think you could just cut wherever. But future vampires, the wires will get lit up, and you have to wait until they're not lit up, and then you can cut it with the little whatever tweezer thing, whatever you call it. I found it kind of hard to judge, even though I'm in VR with 3D. I kind of felt like it was kind of hard to judge precisely where those strings were. So I found like I need to get my head like right up in there, and then I could judge it better. So in that where the vampire got me just there, I wasn't up in there close enough.
Yeah, it's very sensitive to your movements. So.
Yeah. Oh, and so this thing I'm cutting with, it can't touch the wire. If it touches the wire, he gets alerted. And it's hard to not touch the
Right.
wire. It's like the game Operation. Did you have Operation over there?
Yeah, you have to use those tweezers to get little things outside the little doll thing, and
Yeah.
if you're not careful enough, then the buzzer will go, and you basically killed the patient. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I thought it would. I thought I would enjoy it more than I did, but yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't think you'd enjoy it, and that's why I wanted you to play
You're so mean.
I don't want to be the only one complaining. You know, I want to hear you complain.
Yeah, we do complain a lot.
Yes.
We do complain a lot.
Yes. Let's see if I actually successfully put my stake through this guy. I mean, I'm fucking up. I had a lot of trouble with this swiping shit. You can see me if you're watching on YouTube. You can see me. Oh yeah, that's it. So it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna go back to this game.
Have you not finished it?
No, I got really far.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the lit up strings. Oh, and this one has this little idol back there that wakes up. This thing will wake up and then he starts shrieking. You have to time this just right. I think it's gonna wake up and then alert him. Oh no, you have to stay perfectly still. That's what it is. As long as you're not moving, it doesn't shriek. Okay. So that's what the deal is with that thing. So anyway, we'll move on to...
Is that really fun though? Is that fun? Like not having to move in VR? Is that a fun mechanic?
I mean, is Operation fun? If you think Operation is fun, then I think you would like this. My daughter thinks Operation's fun.
Operation's fun because you're playing with other people though. Like there's...
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play Operation by myself. It would be boring.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a child's game, but it's a scary child's game. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next game, EAWRC. Did you figure out like new settings or something for this?
Yeah, I managed to follow a guide, which I can maybe send you a link to put in the description, which really changed the game actually, because I was really struggling to get it to look good and perform well. And then I've followed some of these guides and stuff like this before, and they never usually work. They always end up like I follow it, spend all this time, and I'm like it still looks like shit. But somehow this one actually works, and it actually looks still not as quite as clear and sharp as like Dirt Rally 2, but it's never going to do because it's using temporal anti-aliasing. But it looks good enough for me to enjoy it and play it. Without that, it was really blurry, and I was not enjoying it. So
I wonder why they can't use TSR if it's Unreal Engine 5.
They probably could. I mean, they use DLSS, which is a similar sort of thing. I think TSR is just an upscaler. Yeah, I mean, once I got that, I mean, it took me so long to obviously fuck about and sort that all out. But once I got that set up, it's a really good game, actually. Like, if you like Dirt Rally, then you're going to enjoy this. It's not... The cars feel like more planted. Like in Dirt Rally, the cars feel really like loose. Like as you're driving, it feels like they're constantly like skidding and skating around. They don't feel as like that in this game, which could be a positive or a negative depending on how you feel about that. So the cars aren't like as intense to drive. But the courses are really, 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 really good. Like the stages, and there's so many of them. Like there's like the first Dirt Rally games, they didn't actually have that many stages when you looked at it, and a lot of them were just like the same stage but in reverse or something. Whereas this, they've just got like 13 countries, and each one's got several stages, and some of them are like really long, where they take like 13, 15 minutes just to do one stage. And they're just really impressive the way that they feel to drive. Like you're going through little towns and stuff, and the really narrow streets, and some of them are, going over rough terrain in the Safari Rally. Yeah, it's one of those. If you're not into this sort of game, you're not going to enjoy it because it is obviously more of like a hardcore simulator type thing. But if you liked Dirt Rally, 1 and 2, then I think it's something you should definitely pick up. If you've got you need a high-end PC though, because like I've got a 3080 and it still struggles. I think if you've got a 4090 or something, then you're gonna get a better performance. But yeah, it's just really good. Lots of content. Everything feels good. It's just the performance is a bit rough sometimes. It doesn't look as good as Dirt Rally 2 and it doesn't perform as well as Dirt Rally 2, which is weird, but it still plays well and it's got lots of content. So
It was
I'm
on
not going to say
sale
more
for
than that because
like $14, I think, recently.
yeah, you can pick it up. Like it goes on sale for like really cheap. It's worth that. If you've got a pet, you can play it with it. I played a little bit with a joypad and it worked, gamepad and it worked fine. And but I've got obviously wheel and pedals and everything. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I'm playing a lot of it and I'm enjoying it.
I recently went to this place called like F1 Arcade in DC. A friend of mine booked this time. It's a really high end racing simulator, but it uses just a flat regular screen. And they were all excited about it and stuff, but I was just thinking I can't get into this after VR. I don't know. But
I don't know if I'd struggle as well, like trying to figure out breaking points and stuff out of VR when you've been in VR.
Oh well,
like,
it had the
'cause you've got,
racing
like,
line.
depth.
It had the racing line on all of it.
Oh yeah,
It was very
you had like all the
babyfied.
assists and stuff.
Yeah, that was all along. I wanted to do the harder stuff where we had to do manual shifting and stuff, and they all wanted to be on the easiest setting. So I was like, all right, but I had an advantage. Obviously, they weren't really gamers. They were, just typical. Like they like F1, but
humans.
typical humans. They like F1, but they're not really gamers. So yeah.
Yeah.
It was one-on-one race. Like we were on teams of 3. Each team had 3 people, and then it would be a one-on-one race. And we just take turns, and then at the end, the team with the most points won. Of course, my team won. Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah. I still haven't busted out my little racing rig out of my closet. So
yeah, you should
see.
do it for this game.
Yeah. All right, next game. Outlast Trials in UEVR. This is Waifu Enjoyer's video. So I played this with a coworker. She has been begging me to play a game with her, and she's a gamer, and she suggested Outlast Trials, and I was like, oh, that has I could play that with a VR mod. So we got in this together, and it's one of these games where you hide in lockers from bad guys, and you have to creep around. This is like the lobby area before the actual game starts. Let me see.
Yeah.
So this is where this is another kind of lobby area where you can have up to 4 people together. It's probably better with 4 people. Oh, and this is where it's telling you who you're up against. You're up against this biker dude who likes to shock himself in the dick. Let me see. Yeah, right now he's grabbing his crotch. Oh, you looked away. Okay, then he sees he's shocking his dick there. There's a lot of full frontal nudity in this game. So the bad guys are these big mutants that come to you. Huh?
Mostly men.
Yeah, men. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just lots of dicks and balls coming at you.
Nice.
So one thing, native stereo doesn't work right with this game. I had to change it to sync sequential, and then it was fine. That was the only thing I had to change. So this game is a damn maze. I was lost the whole time I was playing this. I don't know. She was better at this game than I was. I don't know if it was because she was flat and maybe shit made more sense. But in VR,
she played it before.
No, she'd never played it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not good at being patient. It's like she was like crawling around everywhere and like being careful, and I was just kind of like just being careless. So I got killed a lot, and she had to like revive me a lot. You have night vision goggles when it's dark.
to give you mouth to mouth.
Yeah, no, there's a syringe, some sort of syringe that she revived me with. But
All right.
just like in Metro, these night vision goggles run out of energy. So in this game, you have to find batteries around the place to give you more energy. Um, what else about this game? You know how most the games like this, you just go into a locker. Well, a bunch of times I went into a locker and there was a monster in the fucking locker that came out and attacked me and took all my life
Nice.
away. Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so maybe with 4 people, but like with the 2 of us, I felt like we were outnumbered. We did manage to beat the level, but it took quite a while, and it was a huge maze. And then online, I looked up the levels, like because you don't see the map. There's no. I kept saying when we were playing, I need a map. Um,
Yeah, I think that's
so
the point. I think the point is to just like find the way exit or something. Is it not? Like you've got to
there are lots of
figure out
tasks
how
you
to
have to
get out.
do. It's not just get out.
Right.
You have to like find all of these keys and do this task, move this guy. Like there's a guy, I don't know, a gimp. You had to move the gimp in a wheelchair from one end of the facility to the other end, where and then you have to electrocute him. You have
Right.
to find gasoline cans and then use those to turn on some generators. And I don't know why you're doing all of this. There's these psychos hunting you down. And what was confusing to me is some of the psychos look just like my partner. So sometimes I was like, "Oh, hey," and it wasn't her.
Oh.
And
Right.
and then it just attacked me and killed me. I got it on sale for 20 something. I don't know if I'm ever going to play it again.
We'll play it
Pro-
at some point.
yeah, I don't know. So I think that's it for that.
Okay.
Metal Hellsinger VR. You
Yeah.
played more?
Did you play the full version, or have you not
Nah.
bothered?
You know, your account isn't linked up to mine anymore for me.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll have to fix that then.
because the new PC. I don't know why it still works for you but not for me.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can sort that out. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, I bought the full game. Sorry, I've got hiccups. Um, yeah, it's good. I think it's not the best game I've ever played, and I know you don't like it because you've got like this rhythm element where you've got to shoot on the beat.
But you can turn that off.
You can do this thing where it like always like lands on the beat, so you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of just. I don't know how it works. Whether you just shoot and it just automatically waits till you're on the beat or something, but. Yeah, it's a cool game. I like it. You're running around, kind of like Doom. Lots of enemies to kill. You can like jump, double jump, dash around, and each like you go to different versions of different hell. Like each level's like a version of hell or whatever. And every time you go to a new one, you get a new weapon. So like you start off, you get a shotgun, and then you get dual revolvers, and then the one I did last, you get like some sort of explosive crossbow, and they feel pretty good to use. Like the dual revolvers, that you press a button to reload, and then you have to flick your hand down and then back up again to like flick the what do you call them, the drums or whatever back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I really like the music and the way that music obviously plays. Like you'll just get like part of the music, and the better you do, the more the music plays, and then you get the full um, version of the song, which is like a heavy metal kind of music. But I like the music actually; it's pretty good. And yeah, overall, I think it's good. I think it's a decent port. It's not perfect. Sometimes things can kill, like reloading can sometimes be a bit clunky. Um, but I think it's worth. I mean, it's not expensive. I can't remember how much it is, but I didn't pay a lot for it. I think it's worth picking up if you like fast-paced shooters and rhythm games. I think it's a good blend of the two.
The demo had bugs. Does the full version have bugs?
What sort of bugs did you encounter?
Like there were levels that I just couldn't load. They just wouldn't load
No,
and
I've not
stuff
had
like
any
that.
of that.
Okay.
No.
Did you say what level you're on now? Like how far?
I've done like the tutorial and three levels, I think.
Okay. I think the
There's
third
like
level.
there's another 3 level.
I think maybe the third level was the one I was trying to get to. In the
Well, in the demo, I'm surprised they gave you that much in the demo. Maybe that's why it was like a bug.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I didn't think they should give you that much. Because I think there's only like 8 levels or something, so it's not that many.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be like replayable because you can obviously play and get high scores with the whole scoring system and everything. But I won't replay it. Once I've finished all the levels, I'm going to be done with it. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think you'll like it if you put a bit of time into it. Especially if you turn that thing on, which basically makes it so you don't have to worry about shooting on the beat. I think that'll help you enjoy it.
I would definitely do that. I can't.
But yeah, I'll send you the details for logging into my account, and then you can reactivate account sharing with me.
I'm good at Ragnarok, which is hitting drums on a beat. So I don't know why I can't do this on a beat, but it just doesn't work for me. My brain doesn't compute.
Yeah, I do it sometimes. I'm not perfect at it. Like sometimes I'll be fine, but then when it gets really hectic, I'll end up just like bang, bang, bang. Like you're just shooting everywhere because you're just trying to kill enemies, and you figure, oh shit, I need to be like waiting for the beat.
Yeah.
So that feels a bit weird to me. Like when you've got so many enemies and you just want to kill them, but
Yeah.
you've like got to consciously make sure you're also shooting on the beat. It's a weird blend, but when it's not quite as hectic and you are just shooting on the beat, you just feel really good.
Okay. Next game?
Yep.
All right. This was a demo called Sickway. You're on a Segway going on these wooden ramps and stuff. And I was really impressed by how the city looked more than anything else. I was just like, wow, it might be the most realistic looking city I've ever seen in VR.
Is it an Unreal Engine game?
It's got to be.
I think looks like they've just used do you know, that free.
Oh, you think it's a free asset? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
I see, it looks really familiar.
Oh, because you sometimes look at the asset store? Is that why?
They did this big demo. They did Unreal did this big demo where it was on this big city like this. It was a free thing you could download and you could access everything. So, I mean, I don't know if it is. Maybe they've. It looks good though. Like from the footage, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so you just lean to make the just, I've never used a Segway, but I assume it's the way you do it. You just kind of lean in the direction you want to go.
I think so.
And,
I've never used one myself, so.
Yeah. So there's not much else to say about it. When you fall, it's fun because you fall you don't just fall straight, you fall more realistically, so you kind of spin and shit. And I like spinning and going all crazy in VR.
Yeah.
So the demo didn't have that much to do, so I finished the demo. All this, I didn't do any all this stuff. I didn't see any of this stuff. Okay, you're in space. I guess that's because somebody built this track, so you can make your own tracks. I guess I don't know if the full game is out yet, so I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think it was a demo for that Next Fest thing or something.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go to your game. Your next game is Maestro.
Yeah, this is a rhythm game where you play like a composer. You stood in front of a orchestra, and you have to use your hands to move like a wand or whatever they call them. Baton, is it? Up and down and left and right to set the tempo, and you point at certain instruments for them to start playing, and you can bring the volume up with your hand by raising your hand up and bring it down by raising your hand down. And I'm actually playing on the Quest 3 because it's got the hand tracking, so I thought that felt like probably the best way to play it. Although the hand tracking, even with the updates, it still has some slight latency. It feels, when you get in a VR game where it has that smoothing on your hands, when you're moving your hands, it feels slightly dampened.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels a little bit like that. So when you move your hands up and down quickly, you feel like your hands are just slightly lagging behind almost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it works. I mean, I think it's good. It's good for what it is, but after a while, I did find myself getting a bit bored with it. And I think one of the big things as well is like, even though you're doing all this stuff and you're waving your hands around, you don't really feel like you're. Some of them work. Some of the levels are really good, where it feels like you're really like actually doing stuff. But sometimes it just feels like you're not really like actually doing much. Like you're waving your hands around, but it don't really feel like you're really influencing the music. It's almost like you're just waving your hands around because there's indicators that tell you need to wave your hands around, rather than it feeling like you're actually making the music go up or down, or you're pointing at something. Or so I think it depends on the music. Got jazz music as well, which I don't think works particularly that well with this, because why would you have to know like someone composing like people playing jazz? I don't know, but yeah, I mean it's not bad for what it is. I think it's good. I just think it's not as good as I was hoping it would be, in terms of it feeling like you are actually genuinely composing and making the music change.
Did
Because
you
if
say
you,
you played the Quest? You played the Quest version?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
but it's one of the things like, do you know, like in a rhythm game like Guitar Hero, if you miss a note, it'll just make like a little note miss noise, but you don't really feel like you're playing the actual music. Like if you don't hit the music, if you just strum the music and try and press the buttons, it's not really playing the guitar. You're having to play just, you're having to just mimic what it wants you to do on the screen. And it's kind of the same with this. Like if you, like when you move your hands up and down, that's supposed to be you setting the tempo. But if you don't do that, the music's still going to play. It's just eventually you'll fail the level, but it's not like it would stop playing instantly or anything. Or if you were slightly off tempo, the tempo of the song would change slightly. The song is still going to play the same no matter what you do. It's just you're just basically moving your hand to trigger the music to keep playing ultimately, because if you don't, then the music stops. That's ultimately what it is. It's just more, it's not like you're directly making the music, you're just playing a rhythm game and the music's playing in the background. That's what it feels like.
So there's
To
no
me,
feedback. There's no feedback at all. Just visual that you screwed up.
yeah, there's like there'll be like a missed note, but even like that, like the note that plays, like it might be a flute that goes woo, or a string that might go boom. Like it's just like a little thing to tell you you've missed a note, but it's not connected to the music you're playing. It's just a random audio thing to say you missed a
So
note.
there is a random audio thing, like the sound of a screwed up instrument.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is something to tell you've missed a note, but it doesn't actually change the music. Like
Yeah.
it's just telling you, oh, you missed a note, but the music's still playing in the background the
What I'm
same.
remembering from Rock
Like,
Band is like the music. What does the music get like quieter? Is that what happens?
yeah, I
When you
mean, if you do play it, the audience obviously get annoyed, and the music doesn't sound as good. Like it will be slightly quieter or what have you. But it's still playing regardless of what you do. Uh, that's the main thing that I didn't particularly like about it. I was hoping it would. There was another one literally called Maestro VR, and apparently, from what I remember, that one is like what you did with your hands actually affected the music. This one's more like, I don't know, doesn't
why
affect the music as much.
did you actually bought this game, right?
No, for some reason I got it for free, and I have no idea why. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I literally got a meta invite
Hmm.
to download it on the Quest, and I never even asked for it.
'Cause
Or like my Meta email isn't even the same as my YouTube channel, so it's not even like they could have just found it through YouTube or anything. I don't understand
I was
how I
wondering
got it.
why you would have bought this on Quest, because that doesn't sound like you.
No, I mean I do think it works better in a way because, like I say, it's got the full hand tracking support. So it just, I mean, I did play the demo on PC before it came out with controllers. It does feel better to me playing it with the hand tracking, because of the way that you have to, like, sometimes you have to bring your hand out to make this music play, and then you bring your hand backwards and close your hand at the same time, so you like clench your fist, stop music, and they feel really nice when that happens, because that is like that just feel like you are like stopping the music. But obviously in with a controller, you literally just press the grip button. You're not actually just opening and closing your hand. Whereas with the hand tracking, you're pulling your hand out and you're pulling your hand back with closing. It's like it feels way more natural with the hand tracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best things I've tried with the hand tracking. It just makes the most sense, I guess. So I think that's a good reason to get it on the Quest. And it's not like the PC version looks particularly any better at all. It looks the same. You just run it at higher resolution, but obviously with Quest Game Optimizer you can fix that anyway. So
were you more interested in this because you've been working on Trombone Chant Unflattened?
I was interested in it anyway because
Yeah.
I do like interesting uses of VR, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt like this was an interesting use of VR, especially with the hand tracking. Would I have bought it if I didn't get it for free? Probably not. But
Okay.
I mean, I've got it. I've played some of it. I've enjoyed it overall, but I just find after a while I'm not really that interested in playing any more of it.
Okay. I'll go to the next thing. I talked about Gracia last time, which is a like
Yeah,
Gaussian splatting, and now they added a 6-stop video. So right now there are 4 different 6-stop videos that you can. But here's the catch is, so this girl dancing here, it's only 28 seconds. It's a 9.88 gigabyte download. So that's me. I paused it. So you can pause these videos and then like look in close if you want. Up up close when they're not moving, you can see that they're kind of like made out of strings and shit. That they
yeah,
don't look totally clear. But when they're moving, you can't really see it. So I'm
yeah.
actually walking around. This is my video. I'm walking around this girl as she's dancing, feeling like a creep, checking her out.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So there's a girl dancing, then there's a chef guy, there's like 2 parents with their baby, and then there's like an MMA fighter. And I did them all. And
You did them all.
yeah, in this video.
All right.
Oh, you're see, I was like, oh, let
I
me
was
see.
making a joke.
Yeah, I get it. I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't go right down in her crotch for the video.
You, no, but you did anyway.
I did in private, sure. I had to check. I had to check that the rendering
And what
looked
was
good.
that?
I had to check that the rendering looked good. It looked good.
Okay.
So here's the guy, the chef guy. This was the least impressive one. There was some weird artifacts. I don't know if you could see it. And I mean, that's all. He's just messing around with these ingredients. And I got
Yeah,
behind
but
him.
the massive file sizes.
Yeah, the files are huge. So I don't know. They're saying that they're going to use like compression technology to try to get these file sizes down. See, I check out his ass too. So it's equal opportunity. And
Okay. Good to know.
yeah. And so right now, yeah, so like that girl was 9.88 gigabytes, whereas your internet speed is in bits. There's a difference there. Like gigabytes are
Yeah.
8 times more data. So nobody has internet speed fast enough for these things to be
Stream it.
streamed to their headsets. So yeah, they have to compress it. This is the MMA. The one thing annoying is this little window here pops up on each one of these, and for some reason it takes a while for me to be able to get it out of the way.
Right.
Ideally, eventually one day we're going to be walking around inside of movies, like real movies. I don't know how long that's going to
Right.
take. You can see his leg here. It looks like it's made out of little strings. And if I look at these gloves, you can see, don't you see how they're kind of like strings? But
Yeah.
when he's moving, you can't tell. I think it's cool. It might be, hopefully it's a glimpse of the future where we're in like actual full feature films walking around, but
I know what sort of films you're talking about.
huh? Oh, I was talking about
I know what you're
I was
talking about.
talking about Hollywood films. But yes, that other type would
Oh yeah.
be great too. But I think by the time that happens, I don't think my dick is going to work anymore anyway. So I don't think that really matters
Okay.
because it's going to take so long, I think, for that to. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that industry
I
will
mean,
figure it out.
you're not that old. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think technology moves fast as well. Like, look at AI video, look at where it started, and even within a year,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of the stuff that AI video can produce.
Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Yeah, that industry
Really,
is
the
going to
best thing
figure it
would
out.
be,
They'll figure it out way before
yeah,
before Hollywood does. Yeah.
yeah, because that's how they make. That's where the money's at. I look at VR porn; it's like it's huge,
Yeah.
and they've got the
Well,
technology there is advancing
yeah,
quickly.
I downloaded some volumetric video back in the early days of VR, and that shit sucked. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
if they
the
start
most
like this
impressive thing
one,
I found was
sorry,
yeah, the most impressive one I found was like a volumetric capture, but it wasn't video; it was just like stills when they just stood.
you're talking about VR
Like an image.
girls. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just like they were just stood, but they were
yeah,
full 3D. You can like, yeah, it
yeah. That wasn't see
was cool.
the
If
volumetric one I did was by the same company with and the same model, that same model that they like to use, that blonde girl. So
yeah,
they did some volumetric things of her, and it didn't look good at all. It was like a giant download, and then
right,
it looked like photogrammetry. So it was really messy with lots of like artifacts. Whereas like these people here, these of all of the four, these people look the best. Like I was getting up close, and I was like, I don't see all those weird strings and stuff. So I don't know what they did differently here.
it was the
But
light. Maybe I don't know.
and they say they use AI too. So I don't know what that
Yeah,
does. So
probably
if you
just to
want to,
upsample.
yeah, using this app with these videos is a little weird. Like I would watch one video and I couldn't just exit out and then load another one. I had to like exit VR every time and then go back into VR. I don't know why. So it's a little clunky to use this thing. Just a warning.
Yeah, I tried it before, and it was like for some reason it wouldn't show properly in one eye. It was like half
Oh yeah.
black or something. So I didn't. I haven't tried it again, but it
Okay.
seems cool. It's cool technology. It's one of those things that I'll just wait until it advances to the point where we can like, yeah, watch cool stuff with it.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next thing. MudRunner VR. I wanted to play this. I wanted to try it, but I couldn't get to your games.
Oh,
Re-
I refunded it anyway.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I tried it. I actually thought I would enjoy this more because obviously I'm into my cars and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's the same as the flat version. I think it's like a standalone version with their own individual levels that they've made just for this version. The one thing that surprised me is like it's like got a story, and then you're like going through these little open world areas, and then you're doing little tasks and stuff. Which I thought at first I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. And obviously you're in the cars or whatever, and everything's all motion control based. So you literally grab the key to turn the key. You're flipping switches. You're grabbing the gear knob to put it in drive or whatever, and you have to physically grab the steering wheel and steer with it, which I thought was a really cool like attention to detail and everything. But the problem is that the gameplay is just so fucking boring. Like you literally drive the car, you get stuck in the mud, you're like having to like just basically keep the throttle pinned while steering to try and like shimmy your way out of the mud to get to another place to then get another thing to drive in the mud and then get stuck in the mud, and you spend most of your time just driving at like 2 miles an hour in the mud trying to get yourself out. It's just really not interesting at all.
Hmm.
Um, so in the end, I was just like, this is really boring, and I just got a refund on it. And if you want to do, I thought it would be more like there's a game called Beam NG, which has got virtual reality support,
Yeah.
and that's got some really cool like rock climbing stuff where you're like in these off-roader things and with realistic physics, and you're having to try and like get the car up like these mountains and over these rocks and stuff. That's really cool. But this is just like you literally just get stuck in mud. That's basically the entire game, and you literally just use a winch to winch yourself out, and then you get stuck in some more mud. It's It's not fun
I
at
wanted to
all.
play it just so I could complain and bitch, is the truth. Because I knew I wouldn't.
You would
I knew.
definitely complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would definitely complain about it.
Yeah. I've tried these like truck simulator games. I can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like,
people love this game, and maybe the flat game's better. I don't know, but the VR version sucked. It was just so like slow, and I just don't know. Why would you want to just have a game where you're just driving at like 5 miles an hour maximum whilst you spin your wheels in mud? It's not interesting.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Okay, upcoming games. So this list has changed a little bit. Recently we learned about Ghost Town by Fireproof Games, the developer of The Room VR, A Dark Matter.
Yeah, which was a surprise announcement.
I have a video of that. I'm not even sure if I've watched this video.
Oh, we can watch it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they made like a little tease, letting everyone know they were making a VR game, and everyone expected it to just be another Room game because literally all they've ever made is Room games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's a puzzle game again, but it looks like a proper like actual game where you're walking through environments and you're having to. It's not like the Room where you were like teleport to just you would just like teleport to spots and then solve puzzles. This looks like it's actual kind of story, going through environments, and obviously it's a puzzle game. You're going to be solving puzzles, but yeah, it looks really interesting. Actually, it looks way more than I expected it to be.
I'm gonna go back. I wonder what the hell that was. The guy with the flashlight.
I think that's someone you're probably following, maybe like an NPC that you end up with. Maybe. So there was a video of basically a guy with a flashlight walking into a room, and I think
there it is.
It's probably you. Yeah, I think you're probably just following someone in the game who's got a flashlight and they're talking to you and stuff.
Okay.
You're
Yeah, it does
on a
look like
ship,
you're
maybe?
actually. It does look like you're actually doing full loco.
Yeah,
No.
it looks like an actual full game. Their Room games are so good. Like they're the best puzzle games I've played. Even the flat ones are really, really good. So they know how to make a really good puzzle game. So I think it'll be great. I've got really high confidence that they will have nailed this game. Apparently they started working on this straight after the Room Dark Matter. It's been 4 years. Like they've been working on it for 4 years straight.
Wow.
On this VR only game. So yeah, it should be pretty good quality.
Okay, so Exocars comes out November 14th. So I've heard some people say this does have multiplayer. Some people say it doesn't have multiplayer. I'm
They've
not
just
sure.
announced today that it's got multiplayer. It's got like asymmetrical, and it's got like actual where you're racing each other at real time multiplayer as well.
All right. I don't know if this
I've
does
got a key
anything.
for this. I actually could play
Oh,
this.
you do? Wait, did you say you played it?
No, I haven't played it yet. I can't talk about it until it releases anyway. But they sent me a key, so I'll check it out at some point before next month.
Are there games where you can already do stuff like this?
I don't. What do you mean? Where you like racing against a ghost of?
No, like buggy.
The player.
Like where you're in a buggy. Like, could you play like Dirt Rally in a buggy or some other Project Cars in a buggy?
They had like a They had like a kart thing, but not like an off-road. I'll tell you what. The game actually that's probably closest to this is a game called Gravel. But it's not a real VR. It's not a VR game. You can use the Unreal Engine injector and you can play it, and it feels like a native VR game.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no actual VR native game like this yet. I think it's going to just all be down to the feel of the cars for me. Like apparently they've got full wheel support, so you can use your wheel and pedals, but you can also like grab the wheel with your virtual hands and steer that way if you want to. Yeah, if the cars feel good, it could be really fun. They've announced like there's like 24 tracks or something, so there's quite a lot of content. And yeah, I think it could be really fun. It seems to be getting a lot of buzz. People seem to be really interested in it. So
Okay, then Thrill of the Fight 2. We already showed that before. Trombone, Chumpon, Flatten. That has a November 26th release. That's Quest only, though, right?
Can't say.
Oh, you can't say. Is there anything
I'm not
else
allowed
you
to
can?
say.
Any other news you can break? Any other
I mean,
Flats
I can
VR
talk about the
news?
game.
Well, we've already talked about it.
So,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I think
yeah,
it's a great game. It's
yeah.
the best game of the year.
The best game
Everyone
ever.
should buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Game of the century.
Yeah.
All right. December 5th is Behemoth. I think, well, I have higher hopes for Behemoth definitely than Metro.
Yeah.
I hope that's really good. You put a link about Bridge Constructor Studio. That's Quest only. That comes out also on December 5th. That's going to get screwed over by Behemoth. Let me go
Yeah.
to let me
I
go to that
thought
one.
it looked pretty good actually.
Yeah, this looks fun to me.
Like, yeah, like you build bridges and you have to use your hands to like move points around and connect bridges. I don't know why it's Quest only because it's in. They've got like an MR mode, but you can also just do it in VR. Yeah,
Oh
it looks
yeah,
cool. I
I was
think it's.
confused because originally I thought this was an MR game, but then I looked at the video and I was like, I'm not seeing MR. But maybe I saw a different video and saw MR.
Yeah, they have got
Okay.
MR as well, so you can build the bridges like in your room. But that could be interesting because then you could like walk around. You could literally walk around the
Yeah.
like, thing more because obviously you can see where you're going. So maybe that would be the best way to play it. I don't know.
I
But it
wonder
looks
if
like it's got like
MR
hand tracking as well.
I wonder if MR drains the battery a lot faster.
MR's really heavy on performance.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually surprisingly heavy on performance in the battery, like you say,
Yeah.
uh, which is why you can't do like loads of stuff with it
Okay.
visually. There's a game actually I realized that I never played. Is Lego Tail,
Bricktales.
Lego Bricks. Yeah, did you play
Yeah.
that?
No, I never played it.
That's one I want to play that actually. 'Cause that's like an MR Lego thing. That looks cool.
Yeah. I think you have to use your controllers in that. But I guess because Legos are so small, maybe it would be too hard with your hands. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you lose controls, but you like snap them into place or something. It looks cool though. The reviews are really good on it as well. So
Oh, okay.
that's a mixed reality game.
Okay. Alien Rogue Incursion. We got news. The Quest version isn't coming out till 2025, but that's December 19th for us. That's the game that I'm looking forward to the most out of all the, even over Batman and over Metro, and Alien is what I want. So I hope that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I hope it's good because it's one that I'm really looking forward to. But I've just got this feeling in my brain that it's just somehow not going to be good. I don't know.
Yeah, the delay is not good. Any delay is a bad sign to me.
And Servios
So
have been hit and miss as well, like with Walking Dead Onslaught. I was very like the overall design of the game to me was really flawed, like how they structured it and everything. So
yeah.
it could also be the same as like Metro, where it feels like you're just going through the same environments over and over. Like if they
Hmm.
don't put any variety into the environments, I'm going to enjoy it probably because I'm a massive Alien fan, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm trying to temper my expectations on it.
Oh yeah, and I did confirm on their Discord that it is not a roguelike. So that's
Yes,
good news.
which is why I'm interested.
Yeah.
Everything I've seen, like all the footage, looks actually pretty decent. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty optimistic. But again, it's like just based on the studio and everything. I'm just like, oh, let's just hope. Let's just wait and see.
And we already talked about Hitman World of Assassinations coming to PSVR 2. We're hoping that's coming to we're hoping that update comes to PC because that's where we own it. Then this is a new one. Shattered is a Quest 3 exclusive. Have a video. This is an MR escape room, horror escape room type of game.
Yeah, this looks quite cool actually. Where you're like
Yeah.
in your room, but you're looking through a mirror to another room.
Another cool MR game that I didn't have time to add that you put in your Discord is Walltown Wonders. It looks really
Oh
cool.
yeah,
I'm curious, like if it's just something you would do once and you wouldn't go back to. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, that's made by the Hubris developers. So
Oh, it is, huh? I don't
yeah,
know then.
looks really cool. Yeah, it looks really cool. Like the way that you can like you got like physics things where you can like move things with your hand in the. You like mix. It looks like there are some mixed reality stuff that I think looks pretty interesting. Like that's one of them that I'm interested in, definitely.
So Walltown Wonders is made by Hubris, or this one, Shattered?
No, not Shattered.
Walltown
What was
Wonders.
it?
Okay. Walltown
Walltown
Wonders.
Wonders is made by Cyborg. The name is.
Okay. I don't have a video of that one.
That's
So
November. That's got a confirmation date. Let me check that actually.
oh, Walltown.
Walltown Wonders. Yeah, it's November the 21st. They announced it today.
Oh, okay, nice.
Comes out this month.
Okay, that'll be before Trombone Champ on Flatten. It'll be the same day as the Thrill of the Fight too.
Oh, yeah.
I might like to box you in the Thrill of the Fight too. Depends on the
I might
price.
try it.
Thrill of the
Yeah.
Fight was cheap, so maybe it'll be cheap too.
It has to be. It's literally just boxing. I mean,
yeah. Well,
what can you do?
Creed Rise to Glory might have been kind of expensive because of all the.
Yeah, but that's an official IP, so.
Yeah. All right, then Aces of Thunder. We still don't know the release date. It's just Q4. We already said a set of cores at Evo, January 16th. Arcanage now has a release date for January 16th. And there's the Midnight Walk 2025. We already talked about that in the last one and showed a video. The Arcanage is this is its release date trailer where you see a lot more of the game. I'm still not sure exactly what it is, but I liked Shadow Legend when that came out, but that was so long ago.
Yeah, Shadow Legends was decent. It's gonna feel like it's gonna have that indie feel to it. I think it's gonna have like some. The animations and stuff will probably be a little bit clunky. Like even watching the trailer, you can see the animations aren't like top level animations, but I think the Shadow
Shadow Legend.
Was it called? Shadow Legend. It just had good level design, and it was just there was something about that game that still, even though it was obviously made by literally one person, it was still well made enough to be fun. Like they'd done enough with the decisions of the gameplay and stuff for it to be good.
Yeah.
So I think this could be good as well.
The other game they did was Mervils, and I never played that. That was some platformer, third person play. Did you play that?
No, I just remember hearing about it. Like people on PSVR 2, PSVR 1 used to always go on about that game, but
I couldn't get over how it looked.
One.
Yeah, I couldn't get over how it looked.
It looked terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. This sort of reminds me a little bit of Stormland.
Yeah, it does actually. It's got that kind of. It's the environments, I think.
Yeah.
Look very much like Stormland. It looks cool. We've already got something for January to look forward to. So.
Yeah. There's lots of games that just say 2024. You know, but I've put in that list the ones that I'm most interested in.
Which games?
Which games?
Well, stuff that doesn't look very good, or just do you think that they've not got an announcement date yet?
Yeah, they don't have an announcement date though. It'll just say 2024.
Yeah, some stuff's going to get pushed back to next year. Then.
Yeah, it'll get pushed. Yeah, to 2025. These are the only ones that so far that I care about. But there'll be tons of things will just appear out of nowhere that we didn't know were coming.
We've had so many this year, though. So many games. It's incredible. So many good games as well.
I can't remember. So, like, what's the game of the year, basically? I mean, we don't know yet. But what would be the game of the year so far? I can't even remember what came out this year. I'd have to go back
I have to look back. Yeah, I can't remember what came out at the beginning of the year. Based on what I've played so far, I'd probably say Batman.
Okay.
But obviously, we've still got Trombone Champ and Flattened, obviously. That was Game of the Year.
Yes.
We've got Behemoth. We've got Alien Rogue Incursion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely sure that Metro is not going to be a Game of the Year.
No.
Um,
Metro is
Batman's
only
better than...
it's only okay to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've not played enough of it to know that yet, but it was one of those things where it came out, all the YouTubers was like, Game of the Year, this is Half-Life Alyx, this is the best thing ever, and
either they're getting paid to say these things, or they're scared if they're not positive they won't get free keys.
I think they just want to hype up the gaming industry. They want to hype up VRs. They want to I think some of them especially really. They want to make sure that everything is so big that people buy VR. So they're like, "This is the best thing. Let's hype it up. Let's hype it up," and it's fine. But then it just makes their opinion not valid to us, because then they say everything's fucking amazing, and it turns out it's not. So.
But in the end, is it just because they want more subscribers and more views so that they get more money? Because a lot of them, that's their career.
The problem is that if you make a video and your title is Metro, Metro Awakening is okay.
Yeah,
no one's going to click on that video.
Yeah.
No. So you either have to say this game's terrible or this game's the best thing ever made. It's like you have to go extremes.
Yeah.
To get people to watch your video. So then you end up with this thing where it's just like the best thing ever because it's not a bad game. It's just the best thing ever every game. So
what about your next video?
It's annoying.
What are you going to title it to get people to click? Because you couldn't put, if you just put things they could have done to make it better.
I'm going to call it.
That's not extreme.
I always think of my titles first because that's one. It's important. So my title's going to be: Is VR gaming becoming less immersive, or something along those lines? Something like that.
It doesn't sound extreme enough to me.
Well, actually, maybe it needs to be like VR gaming. The new generation of games suck, or I don't know.
It's got to be. It's got to be extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's it. Can you think of anything else that is coming that you care about?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I think that's it.
All right.
Another good month.
Yeah. So I'm gonna finish.
Another good month coming.
I'll finish Metro, and then I'll have more to say next time.
Yeah, I'll finish Metro. I'll finish Batman. I'll finish myself.
I did that earlier.
Finishing all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The next episode, I'm sure we'll have played some of Behemoth, and then we could record and talk about Behemoth.
Yeah, we'll try and time it so we've played at least a bit of that. Yeah, so many good games. Such a good year for Gracia.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.
All right. Bye-bye.